All right. Hello, everyone. We will let some folks funnel in here. Give it a second at the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us on your lunch hour. I'm starting to see some people funnel in now, so exciting times ahead with this webinar. I'm very excited. As you're coming in, just a few housekeeping items. We're going to try and aim for about 45 minutes. This is recorded, so if you have to cut out, we'll send you a recording later. What else? We will ideally have a time for Q&A at the end. So if you have questions, drop them in the Q&A section. You should see that on your screen here. Just it's called Q&A, so you can drop them in there and I will answer them. I may take them kind of periodically throughout the time as well. And then also maybe just as a quick icebreaker, if if you guys can see the chat as well, just a little chat button, just type in where you're from, just in the chat. So I'm Ames, Iowa. I'm calling in from Ames, Iowa. So if you guys see that, let me know where you're calling in from. I'm curious. Cool. Lots of places across the country. I'm excited. All right, so I will kick things off. Looks like we've got about 100 people on right now, so I'll kick things off. My name's Nate Jones. Welcome to the Structurally and Qualified Remodeler webinar about how AI is changing lead generation for home improvement businesses. Quick agenda. Again, my name's Nate. I'm the co-founder of Structurally. We're an AI company, as you'll get to know. Fun fact about me, like I said, I'm from Iowa. Our office was surrounded by corn on three sides. Right now I work from home, so not surrounded by corn, but we are truly a tech hub out here in Iowa, believe it or not. We're going to go through how lead generation, what the lead generation funnel looks like, the cost of lead gen, some real examples of lead gen, AI tools, and AI tools for lead conversion. Hopefully you guys are hearing me fine. If you're not, just chat in, but I just saw someone said I'm a little choppy, but I'm going to keep continuing on otherwise. Okay. So, and then at the end of this, we're going to do a real live interactive demo with call AI and text AI. So you're going to want to stick around until the end, where we also have an exclusive webinar offer. So stick around. So I wanted to start by talking a little bit about the industry. So once again, I'm thankful to be here for our partners at Qualified Remodeler. I wanted to actually mention a quote from Patrick O'Toole, an industry insider, owner, editor at Qualified Remodeler. Recently, he wrote, "Our industry, and for that matter, all industries, would soon embark on a completely new path driven by AI. AI is here for all industries, including home improvement." One of my favorite quotes that I heard from someone a little bit ago was, "We're all scared about AI replacing our jobs." We've all probably heard that in any industry. But AI will only replace those who are not using AI. So I want you to think through that throughout this entire webinar. You're probably going to be displaced by people who are in home improvement who are using AI. It's just the nature of the beast. We have to adopt AI moving forward with all of our technology. And we're going to show you exactly how to do that. I did want to mention as well that if you're super interested in this stuff and want more than what I covered today, I want to give a shout out to Qualified Remodeler. They are having an in-person conference, Fast Remodeler Live in May, that Patrick has mentioned. It's super focused on AI stuff. So if you really like this, really want more, go to the conference. We are doing a little giveaway. Structurally will be there sponsoring and speaking. We have 15 tickets to give away. We want to send you to the conference for free. So first 15 people who do sign up for Structurally after this, if you want, we will pay for your ticket. We will give you a ticket to go to this conference, which is going to be super exciting. So without further ado, I want to talk lead gen. I want to think through the funnel first, give you a lay of the land, and then we'll talk AI. So in a nutshell, this slide kind of looks heavy, but think about your lead generation funnel. You're probably getting leads from Modernize, HomeBuddy, Angie, EverConnect, in-house, possibly you're doing it yourself, and you're basically turning them from a lead into an appointment into a sale. You're doing that through a lot of different efforts: radio, TV, lead aggregators, forms, on-page optimization, text, call, email, follow-up, in-person consults, contracts, etc. There's a lot that goes into turning a brand new person who's never heard of you into a lead, into a closed sale. And on average, home improvement businesses are turning just 3.4% of leads into a sale. So I want you to remember that number throughout this process or throughout this webinar. So I wanted to give you a little benchmarking. So I'm going to start this webinar by talking a little bit about some of the industry benchmarks on lead generation costs and conversion rates, et cetera. So you can get a feel like, hey, am I doing lead generation right? And how could I improve it? So here's an example of how someone's lead gen spend might look. And while I'm going through this, if you guys are comfortable, would you mind telling me what your cost per lead is in what specific vertical you're in? Again, only if you're comfortable. I am curious to kind of hear about it across the board. Just chat, just write that into the chat. Again, only if you're comfortable. But here's an example. Jeremy's Roofing, Siding, and Gutters. They're spending 20 grand on lead gen. They're paying about $10 a click. They're getting 3,000 clicks. They're converting 3.8%, which is an industry norm, of those clicks into a lead. So basically, they're getting leads, 114 leads for 20 grand, which is about $175 a lead. So that kind of seems a little in line with what some of the people are chatting in with. So that's a pretty ballpark number. So from there, they are turning 17% of those leads into an appointment, which is 20 appointments. And then from there, 20% of those appointments turn into a sale, which their average sales price is $16,500, all resulting in about $66,000 in revenue spent on $20,000 of lead spend. So I just wanted to give you a lay of the land and like how much money, time, and effort goes into converting leads, because it's a lot and it's kind of just a big time numbers game. So in lead gen, you kind of have basically two choices, or a combination of the two. You have in-house and you have outsourced. An interesting little tidbit from AIBs is in-house lead gen is preferred 43% of the time. So that means outsourced is actually preferred more, 57% of the time for lead generation efforts. I only bring that up because I found it was interesting that it's like so down the middle. Basically, it's 50-50. So it's really totally up to your preference. No answer is better. If you do your own lead gen, great. If you outsource it to lead aggregators, great. If you do both, even better. They both work really well. But as we're going to talk a lot about, you have to have process in place to convert these leads. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter. That's really where AI comes in. So I wanted to give you a few more benchmarks on in-house versus outsourced leads. This is a question I get asked a lot when we're working with home improvement businesses. Like, hey, where should I get leads from? What leads work best with Structurally? Which leads convert best? Well, let's talk about the cost per lead first. So on average, you can kind of see from Local IQ that they benchmarked some of the average cost per leads by sub-industries. So take a look there. And then you can also see some of the ballpark outsourced cost per lead. Some of these numbers are hard to get for the outsourced providers like Angie's, Modernize, EverConnect, et cetera, but we took a stab at finding them for you. The net of it all is you're going to basically pay between $15 to $180 per lead, in-house or outsourced, doesn't matter. That's kind of the range. So I'm curious what your thoughts are and where you guys are getting your leads from. So Heidi, if you could pull up the poll question, everyone here is going to get a quick poll on their screen. of where are you guys getting your lead sources right now? Is it an aggregator? Is it in-house? Is it otherwise? I am curious to know where you guys are getting these from. And I kind of want to make this, I just want to remind you, I want to make this webinar a lot more interactive than me just talking at you. So again, if you have questions at any time, put them in Q&A. There's a little Q&A tab. If you forget, that's fine. I'm watching the chat too. So chat in. I really want to hear from you guys. I really want to answer your questions. I really don't want to just talk at you for 30 more minutes. So got the poll results. It looks like, oh, wow, it looks like a lot of people are doing their own in-house. That's surprising. Looks like the most commonly used outsourced is Angie. It's 17% out of 88 people who who filled out the poll. So that's a really interesting little result. A lot of you guys are doing in-house. So good for you. That is really cool to see. So we'll kind of talk a little bit more about whether you're using outsourced or in-house, how you can make the most of them. One more benchmark that I want to give you that I thought was really helpful was basically like, are you spending enough on your lead gen or are you spending too much on your lead gen? The industry average is to be around 10% of your projected revenue should be spent on lead gen efforts. So there was a poll from Pro Remodeler of a number of home improvement companies who on average were doing like $4 to $8 million in annual revenue, so good sized, on what percent of their revenue were they spending on lead gen by industry. It was 9% for windows, 7% for roofing, 14% for gutter siding exterior. The average is 10%. That is a good industry norm. So you guys should take that as a takeaway. Go look at your books afterwards and say, hey, what am I projecting for revenue this year? Is it near 10%? Now, there's nothing saying that you can't do more or less. Obviously, it's your comfort level. An interesting little tidbit is the companies surveyed who were doing more than 10 million in annual revenue averaged about 20% of their revenue spent on lead generation efforts. So obviously a correlation there. If you want to grow and you want to grow bigger, you should spend more on lead gen as a percent of your projected revenue. So don't go overboard, but if you want to grow, don't underinvest either. I thought this was a helpful benchmark for sure, just to make sure that you're in line with your peers, basically. So at the end of the day, generating leads is just a numbers game. We just talked about a bunch of different lead gen things, and I threw a bunch of numbers at you. But at the end of the day, it really is just a big time numbers game. For example, it would take at least 17,250 leads or 1,500 leads a month, which is a lot, to generate $10 million in revenue. Now, obviously, that's a huge generalization. That could vary from business to business. I'm sure a lot of you are probably listening to this saying, no, like I'm doing 10 million and I'm not doing that many leads. That's awesome. It's good for you. This is kind of a broad generalization. But the important part is that's a lot of leads. And if you don't have the systems and follow-up in place to accommodate those leads, it's a futile investment. It's not worth your time. And we'll kind of talk about that now. So lead generation is a numbers game, and AI is changing the lead generation game. That's why we're here. More importantly, as we'll talk about, AI is changing your lead follow-up game. So I wanted to talk about 3 kind of real-world examples from some pretty big home improvement companies. These are, again, from a Pro Remodeler study. So we have West Shore, Home Fix, Custom Remodeling, and All Weather Seal. You can kind of look at the stats here. Essentially, in a nutshell, West Home's generating 1,000 leads a day, turning about 50% of them into appointments. They're spending 20% on of their revenue on marketing, and they're doing some in-house stuff, radio, television, Facebook. You can see there in the bottom left from West Shore, they said that the biggest mistake is that remodelers take the lazy approach. They're just chasing after the new shiny leads without putting the time to watch cost per lead in order to respond rapidly. So keep that in mind. You'll kind of see a trend here. HomeFix is setting 8,000 appointments per month, 1,500 or so of which are coming from lead aggregators. And they're using like Home Advisor, Porch, Modernize, etc. You can see from there too that they said, if you don't have a call center, this might not be for you. Or you need to scale down your marketing to get third parties to analyze your leads. So again, if you don't have a call center, this might not be for you. That's super important. All Weather said that they have 10 full-time call center reps. They need 2 leads a day. They're getting a 50% connect rate. That means 880 leads are needed per day. And they're getting leads from places like Home Advisor and other lead aggregators. They said the same thing. This kind of program requires a strong call center team. Please don't wing this. So I don't know if you guys are kind of catching this, but the recurring theme here is call center follow-up is key. All 3 companies are very well established, doing thousands of leads a month, and they are saying call center follow-up is the key. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Before that, I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on AI, and are you already using it today? So we're going to have another poll here. Are you using AI today? And if not, when are you planning to add it to your business? And I said when because you all need to add it to your business. That's what we talked about. And then I want to let you guys know as a reminder that at the end of this webinar, we're going to be doing an interactive demo of texting and calling AI. Really. So you're actually going to be able to call an AI that sounds very human-like. And that's kind of where we're at with AI in the world today. But I want to get a feel for how much of you guys are already using AI as we go into that. Okay, so the poll results are in. Looks like 34% of you are already using AI. One of you never wants to use AI. I want to talk to you, but I get it. It's totally fine. And then looks like a good chunk of you want to try and implement AI before the end of the year. That's the spirit. I like it. So really cool to see that 34% of you are already using AI. Just curious, if you don't mind, could you chat in those of you who are already using AI, like what you're using it for? Is it like blogs? Is it follow-up? Is it your CRM? Like I'm just curious if you don't mind answering what you're using AI for. But we will move on from there. I want to go through a real world example from one of our customers of how they're using AI for lead generation. So this is Next Home Improvements from Colorado, who's getting leads from a variety of places and using structurally AI for lead generation and follow-up. So the way their setup works is they're getting new leads that come into their website or their CRM or otherwise from a variety of sources. They're typically doing a lot of lead aggregator usage. So Modernize, EverConnect, Porch, and their website, Next Home Improvement. So they're kind of in the outsourced lead generation camp. So they're getting a lot of leads a month that way. Those leads funnel in to their CRM, which is Lead Perfection. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are using Lead Perfection out there. There's a lot of CRMs. They chose Lead Perfection. When those leads come into Lead Perfection, they have call center reps who claim the lead and follow up, call the lead, text the lead, etc. So they're letting their call center reps take the lead first, even before AI touches it, which is interesting. It's not how I would recommend it, but it works for them, and it's worked really well for them through structurally. So they have call center reps that are taking all those leads from those aggregators They have 10 minutes to try and get in touch with them. And then AI steps in. Again, AI is structurally in this case, but there's a variety of other AI tools that are out there. So structurally lets them have a delay of 10 minutes before we step in. And that's just so that they can try and get a hold of them themselves. I want to caveat this that this was before structurally had call AI. So they were letting their call center reps call leads, which makes sense, while structurally text the leads. And that worked really well together. But after 10 minutes, it's structurally's. It's our AI who does the follow-up and chasing. We get to try and convert them to the best of our ability, which we do. So the way that works, you can kind of see here, this is small. I'm going to show you a video here in a second, so it's a little bigger. This is an example conversation from one of their leads. They came in, we followed up with them. I think this was a bath remodel lead, actually. We followed up with them a number of times. The lead responded. We had a two-way qualifying conversation. AI had a two-way qualifying conversation. And then it triggered a live transfer to the call center rep that we were just talking about when the lead was qualified and interested. We also set an appointment in this case. So that's the way that Structurally's AI works in a nutshell. We have AI follow-up. We use AI to qualify the lead. We use AI to initiate a live transfer. And this is, again, pre-call AI. So the live transfer is just the AI initiates a call based on the text conversation to the call center rep when the lead is qualified. If the call center rep answers, we call the lead. If the lead answers, we merge the call. That's what we call our live transfers, which is not the same thing as the call AI, which we'll be talking about more here. So here's an example. Here's a better look at that conversation, just so you can kind of see it better. So again, they were a bathroom model lead, filled out a form, or came in from Angie or Porch or Modernize. It went into lead perfection. Their call center rep tried to contact them. They couldn't. So Structurally's AI engaged, followed up with them, had a full qualifying conversation. Now this is using our bath remodel script and default script. Our AI is fully customizable. It also works out of the box for basically every industry under the sun. You just saw there that it asked the one-legger question or the two-legger question. Do you own the home? Do you have the right to make the decision on your own? Super important in home improvement. I know I've heard that a bunch from our customers. Most of our scripts include that. But ultimately, it resulted in a live transfer, and this all happened automatically. So basically, Next Home Improvement's call center reps were just sitting there waiting for a live transfer to come in for a hot qualified lead. This is a totally different process for handling these leads than probably a lot of people are used to. So here are some of their results. We're averaging about a 57% engagement across the board across all our customers. So they're a little below that, but still at a really solid 46% response rate. And then they turned 56 of those into leads that need follow-up. So those are explicit people who are saying, I want to work with you. So that's a really good number too. What is that? About 10%. We average about 17% that turn into needs follow-up. And that ultimately results in a live transfer here, that need follow-up stage. So basically their entire sales pipeline is relatively automated. And this is just using text AI. So I want to ask you guys, kind of based on everything that you've heard, a kind of thought-provoking question. Can your current systems and staff accommodate an increase in leads? We're here talking about lead gen, but we've talked more aggressively about, are you ready for it? Do you have the systems in place for it? Do you have the scripts, the sales training, the people? Do you have people available 24/7 on the weekends, off hours? You're going to get a lot of leads. You need 1,500 leads a month to grow to 10 million in annual revenue based on some typical home improvement benchmarks. This is really where AI shines. We'll talk a little bit more in a nutshell, but in the future here. But this is how it kind of works high level. Again, AI texts and follows up with new inquiries, follows up with them for at least 3 months. Our AI calls leads and qualifies leads too, which you guys are going to get a demo here soon. And then as soon as the lead is qualified, either over text and email or a call, we either schedule an appointment on a calendar or we just live transfer them to a call center rep. So this webinar is about lead generation, not conversion. I know you guys are probably scratching your head like, why is this guy talking to me about converting leads? I'm here to talk about getting leads. But I'm here to say that AI is changing lead generation by improving lead conversion. They are closely related and extremely important to have both sides of the coin covered for your home improvement business. So this is where I want to introduce a technique that's worked really well for our customers who are getting leads from a variety of sources. That we call it the text call AI technique. It's really simple. Like we are not geniuses for inventing this. It's pretty simple. You just text the leads, you call the leads, but you use AI to do it all. And this results in an average 57% text message engagement rate. These are our numbers. A 31% customer answer rate for calls, and a 17% average qualification rate. Those are numbers that are pretty hard to get, even with a really trained, experienced call center. Like these are the numbers that you have to plug into your formula to say, how many leads should I be buying? How many leads should I be generating? Because these are going to be the numbers that influence your sales. So you can get a return on investment on your lead gen. This is the system that you can implement, the text call AI technique. And I want to, if there's one thing to take away from this whole webinar, it's this slide. It's really simple. Call from the same number that you text from. I've talked to so many home improvement businesses who are like, yeah, I'm not getting a hold of my leads. I'm not contacting them. I don't even know why I'm paying for them. Well, if you think about it, if you are texting leads, like good for you, that's a great channel to try and get a hold of your leads. But if you're texting them from one number, say your CRM or a structurally number, or your cell phone, and then you're calling them from a different number, like your dialer, those are two different numbers. So the lead is probably like, why are two different businesses calling me? And then you have to remember that they probably just got inundated by like 5 different phone calls because likely they got sold to a couple other people or inquired about a couple other businesses. So by simply calling from the same number that you're texting from, you are going to see a significant lift in your answer rate. That's why we kind of invented the text call AI technique. It's really this, just call from the same number you're texting from. So I hope that's a little snippet that you walk away with. Go think through your systems. Go think through your lead funnel as if you were a real lead yourself. Like fill out a form, figure out where you got a message from, see if you would be calling them and texting them from the same number. It's gonna change your contact rates on those leads that you're generating. So I want to give you another little tidbit to take away about what makes a winning lead conversion cadence. This is something that we've been dialing in for the last like 8 years. So structurally does texts, calls, and emails. We do the follow-up for you, which the fortune is in the follow-up, as a lot of people say. This cadence has worked really well for us. So we contact leads 44 times in a 3-month time frame. We're obviously pretty aggressive up front, and then we taper off towards the end. But just think about how much work that is. If you're attempting leads 44 times and you need 1,000 leads a month, for example, to try and grow, That's 4,400 attempts per month that compound month over month. You're talking about managing tens of thousands of follow-ups just to convert your leads. There is really no, like, you have to have systems in play. This is really where AI shines. So this is why we're here talking about AI for lead generation. But I do want to call out one thing here. This is one of my favorite things that we've learned from our follow-up is the 12-minute nudge message. So the other thing about AI and autoresponders and lead gen is people have sniffed out autoresponders. When you fill out a form and you get an instant text, it's like, hi, thanks for filling out the form. Typically, you ignore it because you're like, oh, that must be a computer. I don't want to talk to a computer. So we've introduced a nudge message where just 12 minutes later, we just send a simple message. Let me know if I can help. It's a really easy, it's a really easy message. And we get so many responses from leads that are like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought that first message was a computer, so I ignored you. Yeah, I need my Windows replaced ASAP. So the little things that make AI sound like a human are really what's going to set you apart from all your peers. If you're just sending a simple autoresponder message, they're going to ignore it. I'm sorry, but they're going to ignore it. We're kind of wired to as humans. But if you do the little things like purposeful typos that you correct in your text or a nudge message 12 minutes later, they're like, oh, this must be a human. And that's really the advent of AI. That's what AI is really good at doing. And you really can't do this entire process without AI. You have to. That's tens of thousands of attempts. And then what happens when a lead responds? This is where autoresponders, like there's a number of them in the industry, just fail. As soon as a lead responds, that's the most important thing for you. We call it speed to response, not speed to lead. Speed to lead has been solved. Speed to response is more important. How quickly can you get on the phone with them? How quickly can you respond to the lead? What if it's 3 a.m.? What if it's the weekend? You can't just wait until you have a human available the next day to call them. They're on to the next company. So that's where AI shines. So with structurally or with AI generally, you have the follow-up cadence when a lead answers, like in this case, they answered a phone call. Our AI talks to them, which you guys are going to be able to demo. It schedules an appointment. It sends a follow-up reminder text for when that appointment was scheduled, and it updates your CRM so your reps can stay in the loop of what is happening with this lead. It's doing the entire lead generation, follow-up, and conversion funnel for you. And it works with rehash leads, which is really cool. So it can kind of mine those old leads that you're working as well, which is another form of lead generation. You've paid for those leads. You lost them in some way. Either they told you no, not now. Our AI can follow up and reconvert them. If they were closed loss, you can also try and reconvert them that way as well. So this was kind of a lot that we've thrown at you. I want to give you an idea on structurally past and just where AI has come from too. We've been around doing AI since 2016, believe it or not. ChatGPT was, or whatever, GPT 3.5 or 3 was released, what, I think a year or two ago. Structurally actually built our own GPT-2 model in 2016. So we've been doing this for years now, almost 8 years. We've had millions of conversations with leads, 50 million messages, and 8 years of perfecting our AI. And that was just pretty much focused on text conversations, text and emails. Now, technology has evolved so far where we are introducing AI calling today in early access. So the technology is here to have really human-like conversations over call, which we're going to let you guys try. But again, I want to remind you the importance of how texting, calling, and email works together to convert your leads that you're spending so much money on to generate. And At least for us, there's other AI companies that you can explore. This isn't just about structurally, but at least for us, our AI can speak your language. It can work roofing leads, gutters, HVAC, siding. It can handle direct dials from mailers, form fills from your CRM. We work with tons of CRMs out there. Basically, any use case we can handle. Any use case that you want to throw at us, we can handle. We have over 250 pre-built scripts that work in every industry and sub-industry, including like patios and porches and awnings and gutters, gutter toppers, basically everything. We have built for you, or you can customize almost all of structurally. So I am curious, if you want to chat in, do you guys think that calls can really be made by AI? And why not? What are your drawbacks? I'm curious. I think we've proven that texting is kind of there. Like that's kind of a solved problem. It's kind of easy to have conversations over text. Like we do a lot of really cool things to get responses, but it's hard to like have really high quality human-like call conversations. So I've heard a lot of people that are like, oh, it's not there. The tech isn't there. It's close. Obviously, there is some concerns about a little latency. It's not perfect, but there is a lot of improvements in call AI that I think you guys are going to be super excited to try out. So with that, everyone get your phones ready. Get your camera app up or your QR scanner. Grab this QR code. It directs you to structurally.com/QR. So if you don't have your phone right now, just go to the website structurally.com/QR or scan this QR code and fill out the form. And then you will be texted and called by our AI. Give it a second. I'm sure you guys are probably going to flood our system with it right now. It takes a couple minutes to reach out to you, but you're going to fill out the form. It will, you're going to pick your conversation that you're going to have. Our text will text you as if you were a real lead in whatever industry you pick. Our AI will call you and it will first act like a structurally sales rep. It'll say, hey, this is, I think, Alex from Structurally. Do you want to learn more about Structurally, or do you want to go through a demo conversation in your industry? So feel free, break it. I'm sure you guys are gonna break it. I'm very interested to hear your conversations later. It is an early access. This is not live to many of our customers yet. You guys are one of the first to hear about it. By filling out this form, you guys are put to the top of our list for early access. And you also get 20% off Structurally forever. So that's the huge bonus that I wanted to share with you guys. We're excited to be here. We're excited to be working with Qualified Remodeler. We want to give you guys 20% off for life just by trying our call AI and being nice to it, I guess. I'm kidding. You can be mean to it. But maybe I won't give you the 20% off if you're mean to it. I'm just kidding. Everyone here gets the 20% off forever. Just try this out. So I'm going to leave it up for a second. If you screenshot it, you can do that. I think you can try it again later, but just again, the website URL, if you don't have your phone on you, is just structurally.com/QR. Takes you to the same spot, /QR. So again, you're going to fill out the form. It's going to text you. It's going to call you. And get this, it's going to text and call you from the same phone number because that's something we believe in. In fact, I kind of want to get it like tattooed on me. It says the text call AI technique. Call from the same number that you text from. Super important. So you should have that experience kind of working for you. But from there, I want to answer some questions. What time is it? 12:40. Perfect. Okay. I think I've got probably time for about 5-10 minutes of questions and answers here. So if you haven't asked a question yet, feel free to do so in the Q&A or just chat in, whatever. I'll see them. So I'm going to start with some of these questions, and these could be from a little bit ago. So I'm going to start with Ken. He asked, I want to confirm your definition of a lead compared to an appointment. A lead is someone who filled out a form, is how we define it, and how the industry, I think, in that survey defined it. Could be anyone, could be a bad lead, could be anyone with a bad phone number, but it's just someone who filled out a form with some information, personally identifiable information. An appointment is obviously someone who's scheduled an appointment. They're typically qualified at that point. Structurally does not just willy-nilly set appointments. We qualify the lead first. So hopefully that helps. Let's see here. If your gross margin is 30% and you spend 20% on lead generation, you're left with 10% to cover fixed costs and zero profits. I presume the average gross margin for these companies is 40% or higher. I can't tell you. I would ask some more peers. We're in the software business. I took a lot of these from our customers, some other industry surveys. Margins are probably around where you're talking about. Again, the 10% on average to spend as a percent of your revenue on lead gen is just a ballpark estimate. You obviously want to kind of look at your numbers a lot closer to make sure you're left with a good margin. Ken asked, can you send pictures with your AI text? Not right now, unfortunately. You can send links, you can send Calendly links, you can send a link to a picture, a website. Those can all be actually built into our scripts as well. But you can't just send a native picture at this time. Let's see here. Someone asked, is this a custom AI engine that you were structurally built, or is this using another AI engine by Google or Microsoft? That's a really good question. If you're vetting an AI company, that is one question I would for sure ask. So like I said earlier, might have answered this one, structurally built our own AI. We've been doing it for about 7 years, and it's been fine-tuned on over 50 million hand-labeled messages by our team using our own tech stack. So we've been dialing this in for a long time. It also means that you guys your data is a lot more secure with us. It's a lot more kind of monitored by Structurally as well. Will the AI system work with Market Sharp? Yes, good question. We have a good chunk of customers on Market Sharp. Again, pretty simple. Lead comes into Market Sharp. We get the lead from Market Sharp. We text call an AI that lead from Market Sharp almost instantly, 24/7, 365. And if you don't use Market Sharp, we have integrations with a bunch of other CRMs, and that even if you don't use a CRM, you don't have to with Structurally. If you want to send us leads from a CSV or your email, we can parse those as well. We have a lot of lead ingestion mechanisms in our dashboard, as well as our own lightweight CRM. Do you work with swimming pool remodeling companies? Yeah, we work with every type of home improvement company that I don't even know about, basically. We don't have like a pre-built script for swimming pool remodelers right now, but we are constantly adding new default scripts. And we do have a scripting team. So if you're a swimming pool remodeler, you can sign up for Structurally right away, and we will build you that script, which takes about 24 hours or less. We are very quick with our script building. You can build it yourself, but we have a team that does it for you, because our entire product is customizable. Every aspect of the scripts are customizable. Can you choose the voice, male, female, accent? Right now we have custom voices that are just female. We will be rolling out some new voices, a bunch. We have about 6 trained voices right now, one of which is probably what you're experiencing right now if you've called in. but we're constantly iterating here. Like we just launched this new voice that you're talking to this morning. So you're the first to try our new voice, which is a female named Alex today. That's an easy one. Will this webinar and recording be available for others to watch? Yes, we will send it to you afterwards. For those watching and wanting to see these slides as well, we'll send those. Ooh, this is a really good question. What TCPA concerns exist around AI calling? Isn't it similar to robocalling? Thank you to Alexander Zalesko for asking this. This is a super important question. Structurally abides by all TCPA and FCC compliance around texting and calling. The letter of the law is that texting is the same as calling, and calling is the same as texting. Those rules are very clear now. So if you text a lead, you basically might as well have called them to the letter of the law. And if you call a lead, you might as well have texted them. There's a few nuances, like with calling, you can't call more than, I think, 3 times in a certain day. There are certain states that you can't call certain hours in. So we're handling all of that. But in terms of robocalling and robo-dialing and AI calling, so long as we have prior express written consent, which all of your leads should have. If you don't, then you can't text them. You can't call them. You're out of compliance. It doesn't matter if it's AI or a human. If you do not have prior express written consent, you cannot contact them. So we have to maintain a digital audit log of that prior written consent where it comes in from. If it came in from Modernize or your website or Facebook, we integrate with those partners to get that audit trail to make sure that our AI or not AI has the ability to contact them. So we bring that all the way through into structurally. The fact that it's AI calling is 100% legal, so long as you have prior written consent. It's the same thing as texting. AI texting and AI calling are the same thing. As long as you have prior express written consent, you're good to go. The one difference between AI texting and calling, though, is what's called A2P 10DLC, application to peer 10-digit long code. It basically means you have to be approved by what's called the campaign registry to text your leads. Just texting. A2P 10DLC only applies to texting. So structurally handles your A2P compliance registration for you. So when you sign up for structurally, you have to submit your website and your W-9 to us, and then you have to get approved. So for those who are still hanging on, listening to me ramble about compliance, which I'm sure is exciting, you can, I would encourage you to reach out to me at nate@structurally.com and let me or our team review your website. We've seen so many of our customers have out of compliance websites. You have to have checkboxes on your forms now. You have to have a compliant privacy policy. If you don't, you are at risk, and you definitely can't be texting your leads. Like that is the end of the story there, at least from an application like Structurally or your CRM. So I would encourage you to review your website right now for compliance. And if you have questions about that, reach out to me, nate@structurally.com. Just say, hey, can you take a look at my website to see if we're in compliance? I'm not a lawyer, but we've been through hundreds of these applications, and we know what typically gets approved and not. It's a great question on compliance. What are some good websites to get started on AI? Yeah, so structurally, we have a lot of resources. Let's see, I will actually send people an ebook too. We have 6 ways for home improvement businesses to get started with AI. So whoever that is, if you want to reach out to me, I'll send you that ebook, kind of behind the scenes too. So I want to also kind of acknowledge some of the questions about the demo. It may get its wires crossed. I cannot confirm that you will have a perfect conversation. Like I just saw Laszlo said that it turned into a real estate conversation. Yeah, we have a demo account that has all of our scripts in one. That's where you're demoing out of. So it has all of our scripts, and it might have got its wires crossed. But in your case, if you sign up for Structurally, you work in one industry. So usually wires do not get crossed between scripts. So apologies for the real estate conversation if you were asking about solar. Laszlo, if you want to reach out to me after, I can let you try again. Integration process, I think that's a really good one. Basically, it's really simple. We plug in to where you get your leads. If that's from your CRM, if that's from form fills on your website, we actually have a Gmail and Outlook integration where you just click a button and we parse the leads from your inbox, or we can parse the leads from your CRM. We have full integrations with a number of CRMs, so you can do either. It's really up to you. So when a lead comes in, wherever it comes in from, Angie's, Home Advisor, Facebook, your CRM, we're immediately notified about it. We parse the information from that form fill, basically, name, phone, email, type of lead, and then we reach out. Typically, you're going to be using our pre-built scripts. So the scripting side of things is already handled. We just say, hey, I just saw you got a lead in Salesforce and or AccuLinks or what have you. And it was a bathroom model lead. We know how to match that to our bathroom model script usually. So hopefully that answers the integration process. It's really simple. We've invested heavily in making integration with your leads really easy. Got time for probably just a few more questions. We do work with AccuLinks, so I think that one's answered. Pricing. I will leave those of you who are left with kind of maybe one last question, one last answer about pricing. Structurally starts at $499 a month for 1,000 leads processed per month. And that's new or old leads, whatever. You can hit that 1,000 limit however you want. If you only get 50 leads a month, like Laszlo asked, great. You're going to be on the $499 plan. If you have old leads, rehash leads, you can send us 950 every month on top of your 50 new leads a month. So pretty robust pricing. And again, by trying out our AI, if you haven't done so, I'll go back to it. If you haven't tried this out, you get 20% off forever. Every month, you get 20% off forever just by trying this out. So your $499 becomes less than $499, whatever the math is there. We do have a bigger plan that goes up to $2,499, $2,499 a month for up to 10,000 leads a month. The big difference there is it includes our dialer. So don't want to make this too much about Structurally. This is about AI, but we do have our own built-in dialer as well that's included in the larger plan. So if you have pricing questions, actually ask our AI. We built our Structurally pricing into our AI, call AI. So if you call this number and want to talk to our AI, structurally.com/QR, fill out the form and say, hey, what's your pricing? It will also answer our pricing questions. So answered a number of those. How does this cohabitate with pre-existing marketing like pay-per-click SEO, Facebook? Do we have to start over from who we use now? No, that is a really good question. Structurally meets you in your sales and marketing process where you are. So we want to plug into your existing system. Obviously, things might change a little bit if you have a call center team. Like, hey, is AI going to talk to my leads first, or is my call center team going to talk to my leads first? It's kind of up to you. So yeah, you can. We want to meet you where you are with your existing marketing efforts, but you may have to change your sales efforts and just your flow for what your call center reps are doing, because we still need them. We still need call center reps to answer live transfers. It's super important. Your call center reps, if you have them, are going to be freed up to do a lot more creative tasks such as mining your old database, such as following up with those appointments that you already have, such as following up with those that need the higher intent leads. So I can't say that we are going to just immediately fit into your existing sales process, but we do definitely fit into your existing marketing process. Wherever you get leads is exactly where you send them into Structurally. So I think I'm going to probably wrap things up here. I know there's a few questions that I did not get answered, but if you did not get your question answered, please just shoot me an email and I would be happy to answer them. It looks like I have maybe 4 more minutes to the top of the hour. So maybe I have time for one last question. If you've got it, got a good one, this is your last chance. I'm going to kind of handpick one of these. Once the call is over, does it directly contact the agent's direct line? Great question that I think I'm going to wrap on. You can configure the number that our AI live transfers you to. Our AI can live transfer you on a call. If you haven't experienced that, try our demo. Or on text, and you can determine the number that it forwards to. A really good little hack that I've heard people use is plug it into your existing call center software, Five9, Twilio, your dialer, Google Voice, something that might ring a number of your call center reps. And so basically, first person to answer that call gets the live transfer. That has worked really well. Cool. Well, I see a number of requests for that ebook. I will send that as well. If you want an ebook on 6 ways to start using AI, yeah, drop your email here, and we'll send that as another free bonus for everyone that was here. So as a reminder, test the AI. You immediately get early access to Call AI. You get 20% off forever by just testing this out. I'll give you the ebook as well. And if you sign up for Structurally, last plug, thank you to Qualified Remodeler, Heidi, and team for letting us be here. Structurally will be at the Fast Remodeler Live conference in Austin in May. I will be speaking briefly about AI again, but the whole conference is basically about AI. You should definitely go to this. It's going to be amazing. If you don't want to pay for it, sign up for Structurally and we'll give you a free ticket. So the first 15 people who sign up for Structurally, we will give you a free ticket to the conference. And if you aren't one of the first 15, we'll buy it for you because we really want to see you there. This is going to be an awesome conference. And thank you again to Heidi. Thank you again to Qualified Remodeler for the time today. Thank you again for everyone for joining me for the last hour to talk about AI. Hopefully you learned a lot. If you didn't, shoot me a message or just call our AI and say something mean to it and tell them that you didn't like Nate. But hopefully you liked it. Thanks again, everyone, and take care.